ladies, welcome back to the Modern Goddess channel. So in today's video, I am going to be giving some dating and relationship advice to the ladies that may have grown up without a father figure in the home. Many of us don't realize how much growing up without a father or a positive male role model in our lives affects our relationships with men. A lot of times we don't know what to expect of men and what to expect from men, so we just tolerate all types of things and we always choose the wrong types of men. Or sometimes because we've never seen how a woman treats a man, we don't know how to respect a man, how to talk to a man, how to communicate with a man. We don't understand them, you know, and so it really just has a really negative impact in our lives as it relates to dating and relationships when we grow up without a father in the home. And so that is what this video is going to be about, and hopefully it will help you in your current relationship or in your future relationship and all that good stuff. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to highlight, ladies, is that oftentimes when we grow up without father figures, we have low self-esteem. We tend to seek male validation because we have this sense of unworthiness. We feel like we lack in value. And so whenever a man comes along or a guy comes along and he's saying all the right things and he's all charming, you know, it makes us feel good about ourselves. And so we end up choosing the wrong guy because he's just saying the right things. He doesn't necessarily have to do the right things, but because he's making us feel good about ourselves, you know. And especially if it's the type of guy, you know, he has swag and he dresses nice and all the girls want him. And so we're like, well, if all the girls want him and he's giving me attention, then ooh, you know, it makes you feel even better about yourself. And so because of that, you're willing to, you know, submit to this guy, or you go all in for this guy, or you just go head over heels for this guy because he's giving you attention and making you feel good about yourself because you have low self-esteem, but he's actually not really doing anything that shows you that he's a real man. He hasn't really earned certain aspects of yourself because he hasn't shown you in any way that he can be a protector, he can be a provider, that he makes good decisions, that he can problem solve, that he can be a good leader. He hasn't shown you any of that, but simply because he's charming and he knows exactly what to say to make you feel good about yourself, you give it up to him really quick, you fall in love really quickly. And a lot of that, again, has to do with not having a father figure in the home and growing up to feel insecure and seeking that male validation. So I want you to make sure, ladies, that you're not just focusing on improving your self-confidence, but when you're dating men, you need to pay attention to his actions and not just his words. Any man knows exactly what he can say to get with you. Or most men nowadays know what to say to sleep with a woman or to get a woman's attention. However, a real mature masculine man is about that action. He does what he says he's going to do. He's a problem solver. He's a leader. He shows and proves, you know, he shows up. He's reliable. He's that type of man, you know, okay? So I want you to make sure that you pay attention to that. That in no way does that mean that you need to be expecting a man to pay all your bills when y'all are dating and stuff like that, because you're just dating. But he needs to be able to be a man of action and not just a man of all talk and just words, okay? The second thing I want us to keep in mind, ladies, is that when we grow up without a father in the home, we usually are not used to constructive criticism from a man. We're not used to having a father being disappointed in us and correcting us and telling us what we need to change and what we need to do better. We're not used to that. You're used to men kissing your butt, because when you are a girl without a father in the home, other men can sense that oftentimes, and other men know, like especially if men in your town, you know, men in your family, they know that you don't have a father, they know that you don't have a protector, so they'll try you. Girls that grow up without father figures are used to older men flirting with them, older men saying things to them. And so like from a very young age, you're used to not just young boys, but grown men saying all the right things to you, flirting with you, bigging your head up, kissing your butt, being yes men. You're used to men just telling you all the things that you want to hear. And a lot of times it's with ill intentions, because a lot of times they're like perverts, but they're still saying all the right things that you want to hear, right? You grow up with that. And so then once you finally get into a relationship with a man that gives you constructive criticism, you're like, hold up, this is different. He's not kissing my butt. He's not telling me what I want to hear. He's not giving me all compliments. He's not making me feel like I'm the greatest woman in the whole wide world. You know, this is abuse, you know? And so, you know, I understand that there is a difference in a man that is giving constructive criticism out of tough love and a man that is attacking you like a narcissist. And I just did a video about that signs you're submitting to a narcissist. I'll link it somewhere. But I want you to keep this in mind, ladies. If the thing that he is trying to get you to correct, if the criticism that he's giving you has something to do with an area of your life that is preventing you from growing, it has prevented you from having bonds with other women, it has been an issue that you had in your other relationship, it has prevented you from doing well in the workplace, you know, if that is the area that he's trying to correct, you know it's something that you have an issue with, not just with him but with other people, it's something that keeps showing up in your past, in your relationships and everything, then that is constructive criticism. He's genuinely trying to help you improve. He's genuinely trying to help you grow. But when it's just criticism, and the things that he's trying to get you to correct or improve in, they're not issues that you have with anyone else. It just seems like nothing you do is ever good enough. Like he nitpicks at every little thing you do, then yeah, that is an attack. You know, that is a narcissist. You know, that is him trying to manipulate you. So that is abuse. However, like I said, if you have to know the difference between constructive criticism through tough love and a narcissist that is abusing you, okay? And so once you figure out the difference, you're going to have to learn how to accept that constructive criticism, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to have a long-lasting relationship with a mature masculine man, because it's only so much he's going to tolerate when it comes to you making certain improvements in areas, you know, that are affecting, that have a negative impact on your relationship, okay? So just make sure you are open to hearing the things that you can improve in and taking accountability and responsibility for your actions. We all can grow in some ways, okay? So the third thing that I want to touch on is that when you grow up without a father in the home, you tend to develop a survival mentality at a very young age, because if you have a single mother, even though your mother might love you, she might be doing the best she can, oftentimes you're still pretty much on your own because your mom has to work, and so you're learning how to take care of yourself for the most part. You know, you're learning how to make decisions for yourself, you know, and also you feel a sense of abandonment because there is no man there. You don't have that protector, you know, so you develop this survival mentality as a young girl. And so what that looks like is that you end up having defense mechanisms. You tend to be less vulnerable. You have this wall up. You don't really trust people, especially men, because you have this fear of abandonment. So you really don't trust men. You don't want to rely on a man or depend on a man. So you want to be independent. You want to do everything on your own by yourself all the time, so you're less receptive of a man's help. The men in your life don't really feel appreciated or needed, you know. And so what this results in really is that you being overly masculine and less feminine. And so the men that you're dating or the men that you're in a relationship with, they don't see where there is space for them in your life. They don't feel needed in your life because you have this survival mentality. You have learned how to make all the decisions on your own, for yourself, by yourself. And so the idea of allowing a man to lead is like, no, I survived this long by making my own decisions. You think I'm supposed to be submissive now or cooperative now? Like, no, you know, you develop that survival mentality, so where you have to be competitive. It's like, you know, live or die, you know, eat or be eaten, you know, that type of mentality in order to survive. And so when you get in a relationship, it's like, oh, I'm not supposed to be competitive. I'm supposed to be supportive now. I'm supposed to, you know, put your needs and prioritize your needs and not just my own. That doesn't mean you don't care about yourself, but when you're in that survival mentality, it's just about you. You know what I mean? So all of these things add up to you being, again, overly masculine, not feminine enough, and the man just doesn't see where he fits in your life. He doesn't see where the two of you can really complement each other because all of the masculine space is being taken up by you. You get what I mean? And you might not have a reason to feel like that with him. You might not have a reason to have a wall up with him. You might not have a reason to feel like you can't rely on him. He may have done absolutely nothing to make you believe that, but because you didn't have a father figure growing up and you developed that survival mentality at such a young age, you're carrying that into each of your relationships, even if the man didn't do anything to deserve that type of energy from you. And so you are going to have to learn how to release that mentality, because, I mean, it's good when you're trying to accomplish something, when you have goals that you're trying to accomplish, or when you're in a need to be in survival mode. However, you should not feel like you're in survival mode in your relationship. You should not feel like you are not safe. You should not feel like you can't trust him, like you can't be vulnerable with him. You shouldn't feel like you can't depend on your man if you need to. You shouldn't feel like that. And if that's how you feel, you either need to really get therapy and get some help, or you need another man. But you're really going to have to learn how to release that mentality if you're going to have a good relationship with a mature masculine man. So the fourth thing I want to touch on, ladies, is that men want to feel competent. They want to feel useful. This kind of ties into the third one a little bit. And so men want to feel like they are the man of the house. They want to feel needed. They want to feel like they can fix things, like they can be depended on to problem solve. They don't want to feel like you have to call on another man to do something. You know, they want to be able to be confident in knowing that they are the man of the house and they fixed it and they problem solve. So for example, let's say something in the house is broken, right? And you are thinking, okay, I'm just going to call this handyman and get him to come over here and fix it. Or I'm going to call my friend. He knows how to fix things. You know what I mean? Usually a man is going to take offense to that. Like, no, I don't want to fix it. Let me at least look at it first and see if I can figure it out. No, and he don't know anything about it. Now, if you grow up without a father in the home, you're not used to seeing your daddy mess up stuff and break stuff around the house trying to fix it. No, and he don't know nothing about how to fix it. But the thing is, it's not because he's being cheap or because he's being frugal, but because it makes him feel competent and confident. It makes him feel like, you know, I'm the man of the house. I fix this. I problem solve. You know, I'm useful. I'm needed. You know, it makes him feel good about himself. And so overall, men are men of service. Mature masculine men like to be of service. They like to be needed. They like to be useful. They like to be productive. You know, they're not going to just be laying around allowing you to do things for them all the time. They're not going to lay around allowing you to call other men all the time to do things. He's going to at least attempt. He's going to at least try to take a look at it. And so if you're dating a guy and he's lazy, he's never trying to do anything, he's never trying to fix anything, he's never trying to problem solve anything, he's never trying to be a man of service, he's not trying to be useful, he's just there, you know, you don't want to deal with a guy like that, because like what is the point? You know, like I said, mature masculine men, they want to know that there is space for them in your life, that there is some need for their masculine energy, you know. And so like I said, they like to feel competent. It does something for their self-esteem to know I fixed it, I was the hero, I saved the day. And so like if you're dealing with a guy that he doesn't have that in him at all, you don't want to deal with that. Like, no. Leave guys like that alone. So the fifth thing, ladies, this is one that you all have heard me talk about time and time again on this channel and on the other channel, is that respect for men is very, very important. I'm not going to say that men don't care about love. They do. You know, affection, all that matters to men as well. However, you can love up on your man, kiss up on your man all day, every day, but if he feels like you do not respect him, then, you know, all bets are off. You know, the relationship is just not going to work. And when you grow up without a father figure in the home, you typically are not used to having to respect man. You're not used to having to like watch your tone when you're talking to a man. You know, you never had your dad say, who you think you're talking to, young lady, or, you know, you don't talk to me like that, I'm your father. You're not used to having a man correct you because of your tone or because of your attitude. You're not used to having to respect a man. You're not used to thinking of a man in high regards, because a lot of times if you grow up without a father, the men in your life tend to be kind of perverted, like little sleazeballs. They all want something from you. They all want to use you in some way. And so you grow up kind of like resenting men, you know, instead of respecting men. And so you're going to have to learn how to respect respectable men. If you're in a relationship with a man and you just don't know how to talk to him, you don't speak of him in high regards. And I did a video about some things that we do unintentionally that men feel are disrespectful, and I'll link it somewhere if you want to watch it. And I made a video on the other channel as well about some things that women do when they don't respect the man they're in a relationship with. But you really need to understand that that is huge for men. But again, if you're not used to it because you didn't have a father figure growing up in the house, you're not going to think twice of it. You're going to think, well, this is just how I talk to men. This is just how I am. Deal with it, you know. But a respectable man is not going to just deal with it. He's going to want to be respected, you know. So number 6, ladies, is that bravery is kind of like an obligation to men. They get nervous and scared just as much as we do, but they cannot show it, you know. And so oftentimes if you're not used to, again, having a father figure in the home, you won't see him get nervous. You're not used to seeing a man get nervous and scared, and the way that comes out. The way it comes out usually is through frustration and like irritation towards the people that are around him. Now, I'm not saying this is something that a woman should tolerate or accept, but it's good to understand it. So for example, let's say like he has a job interview coming up and he's really nervous, or it could be a spider in the house and he's scared and he just starts fussing at you for no reason at all, you know, or he could be scared of losing you, but he doesn't want to say it. So it comes out again as frustration and anger and irritation towards you. Understanding this is important, because in those moments, all he needs is some reassurance, okay? And if you're not used to seeing how that works, then you're not going to understand it. When a man is scared and he gets frustrated and he you know, starts doing all that, again, I'm not saying tolerate or accept it, but a little reassurance will help him. Just letting him know, you know, you got this. It's going to be okay. Or I'm here for you. I'm not going nowhere. Or I believe in you. You know, that little bit of reassurance really goes a long way. It kind of, you know, amps him up a little bit. For whatever reason, he needs to be brave in those moments. But yeah, bravery is more of an obligation for men. You know, men, you know, they want to be brave. They take pride in being brave. But usually they don't want to be the one that has to step out and put his life on the line all the time. If he wants to live too, you know, he doesn't want to be the one to step up and get rejected, you know what I mean? But these are things that men tend to go through all of the time in order to be the man of the house, you know. And so again, they get nervous, they get scared. Just reassurance, it goes a long way, okay? Number 7, ladies, is that men want to feel appreciated the same way we want to feel appreciated. If you never had a father figure growing up in the home, you probably never heard him make little remarks that kind of insinuate that he's not feeling appreciated. You know, a lot of times if you listen to men, especially men that are fathers, talk, they'll say that for Father's Day, you know, they usually don't go all out the same way people go for Mother's Day. You know, men aren't shown a certain level of gratitude and appreciation the same way women are, okay? And so if you're in a relationship with a man, you got to understand that they really want to feel appreciated. They want the things that they do to be acknowledged, because a lot of times we expect them to do these things. We're like, okay, this is what you're supposed to do as a man. You know, there ain't a reward for that. So that's how a lot of times we feel. That's the energy we give to them. But they want to know that it's still appreciated, you know. So it's nice to do little things for them. Make him his favorite meal sometimes, you know. Do little things for him that you know that he's going to enjoy, because if you don't, he's not going to feel appreciated. He's just going to feel like he's being used. And that is something that you hear fathers talk about a lot, is not feeling appreciated, feeling like what they do is being taken for granted. But a lot of times they just feel like, okay, well, like, what can I do? Like, this is just life. A lot of them have accepted, well, this is just how it's supposed to be, I guess, you know. And I don't think that's right. So make sure that in your relationship, or when you're dating a man, if he does things for you, even if you feel like that's something that a man is supposed to do, make sure that you show him that you appreciate it. You know, don't just take it for granted, because not all men do the things that men do nowadays. Men are becoming more and more emasculated the same way women are becoming more and more masculine. So if you have a man that is doing the right things, make sure you are doing your best to express gratitude, okay? And so the last thing that I have on the list, ladies, is that men need their alone time. Men like to be alone. They like to have their own space. However, at the same time, they like to know that you're there. So again, when we grow up without a father in the home, we've never seen a man come in and just go straight to the room and lay straight down, or just go sit down on the couch and everyone else has to like leave out of the room so he can just have the chair to him. He has his certain chair and he has his space all to himself so he can have his alone time. You know, he needs his space, he needs his quiet, he needs his peace, you know. But again, like I said, he still wants you there. He wants you around. You know, this happens to me all of the time. I could be minding my business and all of a sudden I'll hear, "Jelly!" That's my nickname, Jelly. And I was like, yeah, what is it? What's wrong? Yeah, nothing. What are you doing? You know, and he will have wanted me to leave out of the office so he can have his space and focus, and so I won't be distracting him, but he still wants to know I'm there. And so basically, if you're dating or in a relationship, what you need to understand, give men their space. Give them time to miss you, because they're going to miss your presence. They want to know that you're still there. They want to know that you care about them, that you're around, but they don't want you in their face all of the time. You get what I mean? So hopefully that makes sense. Men need their space. They need their alone time, but at the same time, they still want to know that you're there. If that makes sense. So hopefully this makes sense, ladies, and hopefully it will help you along the way as you're dating and as you are trying to improve in your relationships. Okay, so peace and much love.